Okay. This is what we're talking about. D4. As I said, you know, we're not guaranteed to face D4, D5 in this speedrun, so obviously we're going to be facing a lot of maybe King's Indian, Nimzo. I'll go for this setup against the King's Indian. Let's go maybe H3. Stop knight G4. A little bit tempted by G4, knight G3. I think castling is fine. Let's take this way. There's lots of... What the heck is that? Okay, well... H3 is clearly a good move because your opponent will take it. Don't understand that one. Didn't realize I was preparing such a great bait. It's a pretty good follow-up. I think I'm going to play this one temporarily just to try to get the queen off this diagonal. Queen c8, rook c1. A6, knight a4. Okay, it goes here. I was actually thinking about f3. So knight takes, queen f5, knight takes d6. The queen doesn't really have anywhere to go. So I think this is pretty good. Queen f5, knight takes, queen, I don't know, f6. Just won a pawn for nothing. Just double check all the checks. I don't see any dangerous ones. There's only one move on the board, so you kind of have to play it. And we can either play d6 and queen check, or knight g3 also trades some pieces nicely. Yeah, everything looks pretty good here. We got some checks coming. Knight g3, I think, is a move about to happen, and he plays a tempting move to make a very nice threat, but unfortunately it was hanging in the center of the board. King over. I feel like trading that knight is good practice. If I go here, knight f4, let's try this one. If knight f4 now, we can take it, and there's no way to avoid a queen trade or losing your queen. So I think he has to take. There's no queen c2, no queen f3, no queen h3. So we finally dealt with all the attack, and now black only really has a dark squared bishop that's not doing too much. Knight e4, queen's got to move, maybe rook c7 next. And we got two extra pieces here. I think a pretty nice position. Double. Knight on g5 is tempting. I don't mind this. Try to play rook d7 and rook c7. Also taking on G7 looks pretty good. Check and checkmate. Oh, King's Indian. I mean, we're not playing Queen's Gambit here, but we're still going to be playing I'll call it a proper King's Indian. Not really playing like a system against it with Bishop G5 or Bishop F4, anything like that. Just playing the standard main line. I wouldn't say this is the main line, but so far this is very classical. I suppose the line I'll be using in this series is going to be Bishop D3, followed by Knight E2. We're probably going to get a bunch more games in the King's Indian against higher rated players. We might have an opportunity to explain it further, but for now, Bishop H3 was just out of left field. Don't really know what that was, so it wasn't the most challenging game. Okay, let's play D4. We do see D5. We'll go immediately with Queen's Gambit, and we don't see anybody defending that center pawn with a pawn, so capture immediately. Okay, knight here. Yeah, we really should play D5. I think in an earlier one I played Knight F3, which is a good move, but D5 is it's just the best. I can kick these knights around forever. Yeah, F4. I mean, they really don't have a lot of squares to go to. Even E5 here. This is defended. Okay, something doesn't seem right about that move. Not exactly sure what it is yet, but I will tell you that something is not right. So we have two checks, which are top of my mind. We also just have the normal Knight F3 or Bishop E2. Those are going to be great. If we do one of these moves, like let's say Bishop here, probably going to get met by C6. Yes, it's very tempting to sack the queen, although I'm not 100% sure that that would be best. So probably Queen A4. Bishop back, Bishop B5, Knight G4. I don't know. Position looks pretty suspicious, but working. Like not completely lost. So we'll see what happens. Point is, I mean, black just doesn't have a single pawn moved at all. No control over the center, so even if we just kind of play normally from here, I think we'll be in a good spot. I think I'm just going to develop. There's lots of interesting moves like this, but we'll just keep it kind of simple. I'm very convinced that something is going to be lost here. Let's go. I mean, I have to play this move. It's too tempting not to. G4. There is knight there, but I refuse to believe that something is not lost eventually here. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Put my king in the center, you know, knight G2, put the king in the center. You're telling me that I can't trap this knight? Like, it's just bizarre. How is this a thing? Look at this position. I don't get it. We should be winning that thing. Let's take this way. Okay, that's kind of a threat. Thinking about bringing the knight in here. Oh god, look at that bishop. Knight here, we have h4. Oh no. The knight goes back. I think this is going to be pretty painful here. We'll just go for the mate here. I mean, he's playing down like 3 pieces, so it would be impossible to survive. But, I mean, this is the type of game that you expect from not just Queen's Gambit. Well, they're kind of similar, right? If you play the Queen's Gambit accepted, you're basically playing d4, e4, except there's a pawn on c4. So when you see people not defend the d pawn, just know you're basically playing the Queen's Gambit accepted, except they've already taken they've like accepted and then removed their own pawn. That's all that's happening when like, right? That's all that's occurring here. It's the exact same position, but this pawn is gone. So it can only be good for us. I mean, anytime you get a center like this, no questions asked, you have a better position. I'm curious what the absolute best move is. But we're chasing pieces down here no matter what. What a wacky position. Yeah, at this point it's just hopeless. There's like a bunch of pieces not moving. Just checkmate threats coming. All right, to the next one. That was a very solid Queen's Gambit. Again, just remember, if it's not defended by a pawn, capture it immediately. There's no questions asked. Take the full center. Immediately you have a huge advantage. So claim it. Don't miss out. Okay, let's go d4. And with c6, I was going to say, a lot of people against e4, they kind of have this pre-moved. And so you will end up seeing this opening against the Queen's Gambit a decent amount. f6 is for sure a mistake here. There's no doubt about it. The question is just how what we want to do here. But f6 is not right. I see that he wants to maybe play e5, so let's tread a little bit carefully. I feel like there's a lot of different ways to do it, but maybe just playing in the center might be best. So I'll just bring the knight out and maybe play e4 next. Yeah, I think I'll just go e4. I think I'll just go e4. Okay, bishop here. Looks like captures or bishop d3. I would tend towards developing a piece. Let's get castled out of this pin. We have the 2 bishops. And I think some kind of simple central moves are going to be good. Queen c2, prevent him from castling, or at least benefit when he does. Decides to move the king. No nonsense. Let's just get the bishop out of there. Okay. He's handing me everything on that diagonal. And he's going to resign. That was quick. Well, why did he lose the h7 pawn? Because he didn't have a knight here. Why did he lose the knight? Because he played... It's all because he played pawn f6 a while ago. Definitely not the move you want to include in your opening. Huge weaknesses created on these 2 diagonals when you play that. But I like that we didn't stray too far from the beaten path here. Normally we'd play with maybe e3, but if I don't see a single piece developed 5 moves into the game, I mean, taking the full center certainly makes sense. Pawn to d4, and we see b6, so I'm definitely going to stick with the Queen's Gambit theme and sort of arrange the pieces like this. Looks like e6 is the plan here. how do we want to set things up? Normally, if you don't see either one of these pawns moved, f3 and e4 is a pretty good way to play. I'm going to choose queen c2 for e4. I like this. This is also kind of how I would set things up against the Nimzo, so it's not too far off. And the knight has nowhere to go there. Here it's just inviting bishop takes h6, so probably going to go straight for that. I mean, it's not great, but it's something, it's something. Let's go d5 and shut that bishop off. Knight here is a pretty big move, so I think he's going to take, but just look at the position. I mean, this move as well, there's definitely going to be some problems here. Question is just how do we want to play? Queen to f5 looks like a move. Takes queen e5. There's queen e7, but I was planning queen h5, which is kind of a little bit tricky. Pawn here takes queen e5, king there. I mean, yes, we're always picking this up, but we're picking that up anyway, so I don't really see any extra value there. So let's take. The question is, do we want to play d6 and bishop here? I feel like the answer is probably no, just because of queen here. So I think we're taking this. We'll just make sure that, for example, like this pawn, if it was not there, then bishop, lo and behold, then bishop b4 would win our queen. So we do need to be careful of that. c4. We just won't take it and allow this. We could play d6. This one's also possible. Knight e5, king here. I think this might be the way to go, just because we have knight f7 there, so that should win. Give me that rook. Give me that rook. And this, I think, just makes it a lot easier to play. So this is what I mean about pre-moves. Like, at this point, the entire game could be pre-moved, you know? I'm glad that happened, because it's a good reminder that we needed to play king h5 and takes. So, keeping us honest. We're able to end it in style. It's always nice doing this checkmate because you can, at some point, the king disappears like that. And it feels like you've pre-moved a checkmate against, you know, a king that's not even there. It's satisfying every time. It never gets old. GG. I'll never forget the time that I was doing a speed run and I did this checkmate to someone and he didn't resign. He let it happen. And then afterwards he was like, nice mate, bro. Like, I do this as well. I was like, oh, okay. We ran into an enjoyer. He also does the reset checkmate against everybody. So naturally, he respected the attempt. Okay, just feels like we're getting the black pieces every game from 900 to 1000. But we're playing the Queen's Gambit here, and we're even playing the Queen's Gambit Accepted. And I've told you guys that this is a particular variation that I don't want to allow as white, so I've been playing it as black. Okay, this one is a bit better. Still probably not the top move or anything, but definitely a much better move. Let's take. Knight takes. I'm feeling like maybe bishop to b4 could be a move, but we have to watch out for queen a4 check. Don't really know. Yeah, I assume that should be a pretty big problem. So I feel like we got to go to c5 with the bishop, maybe. Bishop e3, knight g4, perhaps. Not sure what happens there. Yeah, I think knight to g4. Give it a try. I don't really see a good way that white can get out of things. Actually, I'm looking at knight here and I'm like, wait a minute. Almost looks like a good move there. Let's go c6. Queen takes, 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 takes. Should work out for us. So actually taking here, there's bishop takes f7. So I got to commend D Cook for setting a few pitfalls here. Now this, I mean, I really don't know what to say. This is, it can be taken by every single piece in the position. So, I mean, it should win material. It really should. I think we have to do it. Matter of fact, we can also take here and then do it if that somehow makes us feel a little bit safer. But we gotta take that. b5, I mean, undoubling the pawns feels truly horrible. And he might think that we're planning to take. Ooh, again, I mean, look, D Cook with long castle there is really not a bad attempt. Happens to not work out because of this, but I mean, even still, he's got knight d5 next. Like, I was gonna go queen e7. It's not completely obvious, so I still feel like it was a good shout. Gotta get castled here. I like this move. Let's get the heck out of the way. At least, you know, if we trap that knight in there, then we'll have two pieces. And then on top of that, we still have this b5 move that we've been sitting on for a while. But I mean, 950 D Cook, like this is a game that would probably win a very high percentage of the time here. Objectively flawed, but definitely getting stuff done here. Rook d8 is mine for the taking. But you know, queen b3, it's actually pinning the rook. Like we can't take it. Like, it's, you know, it's it's more than a game here. I feel like it's not bad at all. I'm gonna try to get him to take that and then just kind of bring the pieces back into civilization. Maybe we can take this, although I don't really want to allow any opportunity to play there. So yeah, let's kind of recover the bishop. And I mean, I guess in the end we might win the knight, so we have 3 minor pieces. Even if we don't win the knight, we're still winning. But it's again an interesting move. Like he's going for tactics, he's trying to find stuff. I think I would be shocked if this guy hasn't been higher rated before. Seems like a very resourceful 900. Okay, his rapid is 1500, but let's see. Okay, yeah, he's been 1050. Makes sense. Beginning of this year, and he's 1500 rapid. Yeah, it just seemed like doesn't matter if it's all sound. He's 900. Of course, it's not going to be sound. Very resourceful game though. There's a lot of tons of ways that things could go wrong for black. Agreed, Guppy. I wouldn't be surprised to see him higher rated in the near future. That was a hell of a good game. Hell of a good game. Okay, we go d4 for sure. The Dutch, we're still gonna stick with our, yeah, basically the same starting moves. Against the Dutch, like this, I usually like to go for this. Let's go queen c2. We played this before, actually. Guard that. Knight e4, I will play bishop to d2. Wow, okay. Very aggressive. Let's just clarify. Bishop takes c3 here. A lot of players play bishop a5, don't realize they're losing their piece. Okay. I think this one, actually knight here also looks very good as well. But yeah, let's play the normal move. And I mean, yeah, black has got one piece developed. We have the bishop pair as well. It's got to be knight e4 here. Have to play knight e4. We'll drop our queen. Knight here. Immediately I'm thinking h3 because that knight looks vulnerable. So let's go ahead and do it. I like this move a lot. Has to be knight g7. But it's not like the Norwegian rat speedrun. Knight on g7 right here is going absolutely nowhere. So much so that I think we can just grab this. King f7, we can long castle, maybe double. Bishop coming out. Yeah, we should have a very good position. Rook takes, queen g5. We do have queen d2. So important to know that you have that though. Hey, these 900s, they're like, the pieces aren't all in place, but the ideas are there. Even to have the ideas is impressive. Okay, we're just going to play against this bishop here. So if bishop here, we have rook d7, and if king over, we can bring the other rook in. So that is going to be GG. But, you know, he was close. He had an idea. Rook takes h6. Like, at 900 to even conceptualize this, I'm impressed by it, even though it was a blunder. Now, what I'm not impressed by is the opening. The opening is very bad. Too many pawn moves. Just stuck to habits. Pieces in the middle. We have bishop pair. We're opening the game up. It's going to be a very good position for us. Okay. At least we get to end on a d4 game. And it is going to be not just a Queen's Gambit, but finally like a very proper Queen's Gambit. Let's see. A lot of people like to play c5. Knight f6, I would say, is the most standard move. Okay, we get this. Now, I don't like to play knight f3 because I feel like those are the variations where they get to hang on to the pawns. So I'm just going to play e3. Bishop out. Normally not a good move just because, like, if I play a3 and you take it, this is not a good pawn structure for that bishop. And if I play a3 and you go back, then it's like, why did you go here in the first place? So bring our pieces out to all the usual squares. Let's castle for sure. I'm thinking a3, very, very likely. Okay, he's just gonna go back. So if we play e4 here, he could take and then take. Still good for us, but a lot of trades. Definitely a lot of trades. So I'm wondering about a3, b4. a3, b4. And then just expand in the center with e4. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Rook on d1 is always pretty well placed. And yeah, let's now go with e4 as soon as the bishop's gone. The main plan for sure is, you know, e3 and later e4. Let's go ahead and do that. Knight takes, knight here, bishop g5, h6, bishop h4. And then I think the rooks want to go to the middle. b5 is it's an interesting move. I don't think it's bad either. I mean, it drops a pawn here, but I have to say, I definitely understand it. It would be a bit more like in the spirit of our position to play c5. So I think I will. Looks unusual. We have a weak pawn here, but oftentimes this is how you want to play the position. So let's see if this makes any sense. Okay, bishop a6. There's not really a threat right now. Rook e1 looks fine. Just get off any potential diagonal. And of course, b4 is just going to be a useful move for us. So let's get this pin in. h6, we're going bishop back to h4. If I trade this bishop with bishop g3, then suddenly our knight gets a great square. And we should be able to win a pawn here by taking. And we'll make sure not to capture because, yeah, the king's gonna have to go to h8. And let's just save this. Let's save this bishop. This looks a little bit fancy, but I think we could try to play rook e4. I think knight there, rook h4 is good, and king takes rook h4 is good. g6. Okay, I didn't really think of this for probably a few reasons, but let's try this. Guess I'll go queen here. Bishop here definitely wins, but it doesn't it doesn't win that much. Here is also not 100% winning. I'm actually shocked, but I don't really see a move that that does what I want. Like bishop h6 is not exactly working. Let's just go after this knight here. We also have queen h4, king here. I think we can sort of just bring the rook in. It's weird, but I actually feel like he almost is trapped here. So I'm wondering, what if we do like, I'll even play h3. What if we do the slowest approach ever? Okay, that should make it even easier for me. But I say that, and yet there's actually knight here in the position. It's unbelievable. Knight here. Man, how did that not? Oh, that's not going to be a good one. Let's just cut the king before mate. I don't know how that wasn't a checkmate or something. It's crazy. I have to go back and see how many millions of things were missed. But at least I said quite a few of them out loud. It's like there were wins that we passed up because I just assumed that we'd be winning even further. So maybe it's just the case that we weren't, and we should have cashed in on those opportunities. Still, rook e4 was correct. Rook h8. Oh my goodness. So here, the whole point of why I played this was to checkmate. And I was thinking, wow, I'm genius. Rook h8, queen h6, and queen g7. But for some reason, it didn't occur to me that when rook h8 was played, that we still have the same threat. Like without taking the rook, it didn't make as much sense to me. It made more sense when I was sacking the rook, but somehow this one, it's the exact same thing, but it didn't occur to me that it was. And yeah, knight takes h5, or rook takes h5. We still mate. So it's weird. That was why I played queen d2, but when rook h8 was played, it no longer made sense to me anymore. I will say c5 is an underrated move, because most of the time when this happens, you either take it or you get taken. But even winning the pawn here, I'm not convinced that this is such a good position. Like, we have a weakness here. Black gets great activity. So I actually prefer this. And my plan here would probably be, well, okay, there's pawn hanging, but let's just say it was defended. We'd play like bishop g5. The rooks would come to the middle. And although the d5 square is weak, so is that pawn, and even if you put a knight there, the bishop on c8 is just so bad for the entire game. So, double-edged still. Well done, you made it to the end of another episode in the Queen's Gambit speedrun. Make sure to like the video and leave a comment down below if you enjoyed, and if you haven't subscribed, make sure to click that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you never miss the next episode.